They're known as the rainforests of the sea. Coral reefs. Some of the most diverse ecosystems on Earth. Despite the serene impression, this is no paradise. Predators roam the reefs, and stiff competition for space and food makes life incredibly tough. So how do reef inhabitants get through a day? To find out and experience life on the reef, you first have to become part of it. Adventure Ocean Quest. An encounter with a world under the waves. With divers who become underwater beings themselves. They work together with scientists on all the world's oceans. Deep under the surface of the water. Without a sound and without a breath. Adventure in the depths of the sea, the likes of which has never been seen before. The South Pacific, where coral reefs act as a barrier to waves and storms. A world of small islands and open sea. They form a realm of their own, which opens up to those willing to adapt to its rules. Intimate encounters with the creatures of the reefs are only possible if the divers are prepared to enter their world without the comforts of technology. This is the product of nature's luxurious bounty, as it can be seen hardly anywhere else on Earth. French Polynesia is the ideal location for marine biologists to study this highly complex ecosystem beneath the waves. That's why Moorea is the base for French and American university research stations. This is their starting point for research excursions into the tropical sea of French Polynesia. This time, they've teamed up with the French underwater cameraman Christian Pétron and two underwater specialists, the world-class freedivers Frédéric Bouille and William Winram. The two divers work as a highly experienced team and can rely on each other in every situation the sea might throw at them. They know the waters of the South Pacific well. Diving here with whales and sharks is nothing new for them. Fred has come here to meet Professor Serge Plan on Moorea, a French researcher specializing on the underwater fauna of French Polynesia. So Fred, I'm glad you're here in Moorea. My interest in having you here is your capability of staying in the water without breathing for sometimes, and especially regarding the analysis and the survey of the behavior of the fauna we have in the sea. And you think as a freediver I can help you with that. The interest is that for doing sampling, you can always do that with doing bubbles, with scuba tank on the classical tool. But as soon as you're looking at behavior, as soon as you're interested in how a fish or how a worm or how a shrimp react towards another one's or towards regarding reproduction or regarding some kind of activity, the noise that bubbles are making are suddenly and it's been shown that it's disturbing partly this activity, and it's also then difficult to really understand what is part of the natural behavior from what is a part of a reaction of the behavior related to bubble, the disturbance. So coral reefs are in some ways the equivalent of tropical rainforest that you find in the Amazon. Coral reefs are supposed to be the sources of high diversity ecosystem. I'd say that the reef itself, it's based on a few animals that are numerous in numbers, that are creating themselves a high diversity pool. It's known to be about 20,000 species of fish. That is almost 50% of all fish inhabiting the earth, just for reef. But correlated to that, it's only about 1,500 species of coral. So it's a few number of species of coral, creating a huge diversity. And actually there is now estimate that there is already 20% of reef that are gone. And there's about 30 to 40% that we think they're in high danger of disappearing. And then the rest that is more or less going a little bit better. Corals are the building blocks of the reef, but are highly sensitive to temperature fluctuations. That's why global warming could be particularly harmful to them. And once they've been damaged, recovery is a slow and unpredictable process. It creates a disastrous chain reaction. Once the coral is gone, all the species that depend on it will also disappear. That's why more research and further insights into the complex reef ecosystems are so important. In order to save them, detailed knowledge of their intricate workings is essential. Fred, William, and Christian are hoping to help gain further crucial insights. The team gets ready for their first reef dive, a night dive. So we're going to follow the scientists with lights and see what's happening. It's a new experience, so we'll see. While the free divers have no technical equipment at all, the specialist camera gear used to record the dive is incredibly heavy. It's dark. Not diving is dark. There's no light, so we have different animals that go outside. Some animals are sleeping, some animals are more active, so that's the main difference. In terms of diving, doesn't change anything, and but sometimes it's nice to do some night dive. It's not my favorite thing because I like to enjoy the scenery more, but it's fun from time to time. And here I think we'll have very good condition on a shallow reef, so it's going to be a good dive. But first, the team head for the Berkeley University Research Station to pick up a further specialist, Professor Gustav Paulet of the University of Florida. He is an expert on invertebrate animals. There will be no moon in the sky tonight. Ideal conditions to observe a very special event, the arrival of new reef inhabitants in their millions. This night is of particular interest for Gustav Paulet. In the dead of night, millions of larvae drift with the currents towards the island. The eggs of the animals populating the lagoon reach maturity on the ocean floor or even out in the open sea. Now the freshly hatched larvae are ready to return to the lagoon. Drifting on the currents under cover of night, they do what they can to avoid falling prey to larger predators. The reef itself is not very impressive. The tumbling clouds of larvae are breathtaking. A few years ago, the corals here fell victim to an invasion of crown-of-thorns starfish that feed on the delicate coral polyps. It's been a recurring problem in French Polynesia. Corals on several reefs have already met the same fate and have been almost completely wiped out. We haven't seen anything. A lot of larvae in the water, but beside that, nothing. The following day, Fred meets up with Professor Polly. The larvae may seem insignificant, but they form a vital part of the scientist's plan to understand the entire coral reef ecosystem. What are you doing? Looking at some larvae? All the larvae we cooked yesterday during the night dive? Yeah, okay. So there's a whole bunch of different species. These are some of the samples in here. There's a lot of, not really big ones here. And these are for larvae of marine life. This is very large. Yes. So most things have tiny larvae, but these are for stomatopods, mantis shrimp, the big prawn killers. And these are probably about an inch long, more than an inch, just 2-3 centimeters. And there were lots and lots of them coming in on the reef. So we got a really nice sample to play with. Nice. So we'll see what kind of species they are and how many we got, and preserve samples from everything, and then get some images of them and get DNA samples. Okay? So we'll get a little bit of everything. Not much on the reef though, but not this time. Yeah, I know. Yeah, see, no pun was here. It was just crazy. Yeah. Well, this reef here has died in a lot of ways because of the acronomia thorns there. Acanthaster. Yeah. So the corals are too few and far between. So even when they spawn, it's not going to be exciting now. But I'm hoping that when the worms come out and the sea cucumbers come out, it's going to be good. So you go back in? Yep. Tonight, of course, yeah. Every night until, for a couple of nights. I got 2 more nights before I have to leave the island. So it's run out of time, but at least we're here for this cycle. So want to take advantage of it. From Maria, the team move on to the next station of their mission. Rangiroa, the biggest coral atoll in French Polynesia. Atolls are the remains of old islands that submerge beneath the waves, while the surrounding fringe reefs continue to grow upwards. Rangiroa is a ring of 240 small islands, 80 kilometers long and up to 32 kilometers wide. The team is heading to a particular place, Le Faille, or the break. The reef has literally broken into fragments here. The resulting underwater landscape of caves and canyons has given rise to a new ecosystem. The origin of this deep crack in the reef is still unclear. And here it looks like you have the reef and then you have a sheer drop. So we'll have a big wall, huh? We'll see what kind of sea life we find. Maybe we'll find some pelagic fish coming in to hunt. But probably not this time of day, but you never know. So it's always interesting. What? For a second. I need to flip it. Okay. Free divers are always quick to prepare for their dives. Le Faille lies right in front of the Blue Lagoon, a protected area that is home to a myriad of bird species. The reef here is incredibly shallow, and Fred hovers at the water's surface to take in its natural beauty and sheer diversity of animals.